some disco lovers, and they get to Detroit, find out that they didn't get the tickets, so they split up into 4 different areas to find money or get tickets, then meet back up before the concert starts. What's your favorite of the 4 subplots? Rank the 4 subplots, Chris Kelly.
I'm gonna say Edward Furlong's is my favorite. It also has to do with the side character of the guy who's trying to scalp the tickets to him. That guy was originally only supposed to have 1 or 2 lines, and then he flushed out the character completely, doing the whole line. If you want to go over there, shake your wee, get $100. So I really enjoyed that a lot. I'd say Hawks is first. Then I'd say followed by Trip. His is a good one where he goes into the convenience store and then his plan is to rob, which apparently that story is loosely based on a real story that Peter Criss had actually heard about a guy who went to go rob a convenience store to get Kiss tickets, only to have the place be robbed while he was in there. So that's supposedly based on some quote unquote real story, but who knows if that actually happened. I like that one second. Jam's, I think, is probably third. His doesn't really go. No, you know what? I'm going to say Lex. Lex is probably third. His scene doesn't really do too much. The whole thing with him. Then he eventually discovers the car, and then he goes in there to save the car and the girl, and then they part ways. And then lastly, I'd say Jam. Although I do think that they're all equally enjoyable. Although Jam's is probably dead last for me because he doesn't do anything. He gets discovered by his mother. She takes him to the church, only to see the girl that is secretly in love with him, Beth. And is it Beth or Christine? No, Beth. Beth, played by Melanie Linsky. She discovers him, and then they do their business
in a confessional thing, and then he gets the priest all creepy going. I guess. All right. So for me, let's see. I guess I give number 1 to Hawk. Because remember in the beginning of the film when they say that Hawk has stage fright and then he has to go up and strip in front of a bunch of ladies and he pukes for about 3 minutes?
He says in the commentary, Adam Rifkin, he said he wanted to make it clear that it wasn't the booze, it was the stage fright. Yeah, so I was like, I don't think that translated.
Yeah. I guess remember in the beginning of the film though, they say that, no, not in the beginning, when they're in the car, they say that he passed out. And so I guess they built towards that and they tied those loose ends. He gets over his stage fright. And then I like the whole thing with Trip. I guess I'll do Trip too, because Trip says, I'm just riding out until I can drop out of high school. And then the robber comes in, says the same exact thing. I still don't know how he gets the gun from the guy. They never show us that.
No, he gets the gun from the guy because the guy, whenever he says, show me your gun, he's like, you show me yours. And then the guy puts the gun to Trip's forehead. So Trip pulls out the Stretch Armstrong and he starts laughing. So then Trip grabs the gun. The guy stupidly grabs the Stretch Armstrong and then it stretches. So then Trip lets it go. It smacks him in the chest. He falls backwards into the Little Debbie display, which I'm not sure how that would actually knock you out. But that's how it happens. And he's like, he has the gun and the girl goes, oh my God, what's your name? He's like, call me Dr. Love.
Oh, yeah. If you ever see him again. I do like the line when they're talking about the guns, and what does he say to him? He said something about, he's like, I don't think you have a gun. He goes, neither do I. Something. But he says he wants to drop out of high school. The robber says the same thing, so maybe that'll set him on a different track. And then I guess I got to give it to Lex because there's a throwaway line in the beginning of the film where he says he hates dogs, and then he ends up teaming up with dogs to defeat those 2 guys and save Natasha Lyonne, who stole their vehicle, and they're about to do some terrible stuff to her. And then I guess at the end it's Jam because he, like you said, he doesn't do it. It goes nowhere. He gets the speech with his mom. He yells at his mom, I guess, and says, blah, blah, blah. And then Lin Shaye crushes it when she's like, they grow up fast. She showed some humanity there. So I like that they established tiny little things in the beginning of the film and had them resolved. I mean, I don't know if they establish it too well, but if you pay attention to it, they see it. But I guess I got to give it to Hawk and Edward Furlong. It's just a weird scene. And then he gets with Shannon Tweed, and she's like, that's why I get cast in every single role. And it was kind of weird. She was like, oh man, she called him premature Peter. And then he looks at her and he goes, yeah, you've seen me and my dick throw up in one night. And I'm like, geez Louise.
Let me tell you about my dead mom.
Yeah. Jeez, that was an interesting conversation between them. But I don't know. Sometimes I like it when none of these adventures really stretch out too long. Would you have liked to see them fail more? Would you think that's in the 3 hour cut? Should they have gotten there sooner and then had an extra 10 minutes where they're fighting for more tickets? Do you think that's enough time? What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think that was accurately put because if they did stretch it out too long, I think that, well, I know I would think, but I think audiences in general would have thought, okay, can we get on with this? I get it. They failed. I think having them do one task each is a lot better. If we had, say, I know originally what was written out was Lex takes Christine after he saves her from the chop shop guys. They have this whole big moment where they kiss and everything. They kind of condensed it all. I think that would have been a little bit better, but I think we're okay with not having to flesh out anymore. Shannon Tweed, she was hired not only because she has two of Gene Simmons' kids, but because one, according to Adam Rifkin, she's an underrated actress, and two, she's beautiful and perfect for the role.
And I just love in the commentary, she's like, yeah, I get cast for this all the time. This is what every role I get.
She's good though. I mean, I think she's good in what she does. I mean, actors need to realize that, well, people in general should understand that if you have a certain look or if you have a certain feel about you, use that to your advantage. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
That's good. I mean, use it to your advantage. I mean, Mickey Rourke, when he made a comeback, he came back as quite possibly Mickey Rourke, just a washed up former star, which is perfect.
I love the movies that Shannon Tweed was in. So if you look at IMDb, and no, exactly and I'm just kind of going off what you were saying, the role she took, like with Mickey Rourke coming back being Mickey Rourke, wrestler. That's basically him, right? Boxer. He was a boxer, and then he had that career, all crazy life, wrestler. Darren Aronofsky. That was such wise casting. I love it. But she has movies like Victim of Desire, Body Chemistry, Indecent Behavior, Illicit Dreams, Night Fire, Hard Vice, like this movie, like Stormy Nights, Human Desires. Those are the kind of Naked Lies. Those are the movies she was popping up in.
If I could speak candidly here, I really miss the fine art of those films, of the softcore pornography thriller films that were made
from the 90s.
In the 90s, there was television shows. Everybody, do you remember Silk Stockings?
Yeah, I never watched that.
Red Shoe Diaries. They had all these shows, and they just don't make them anymore. That's a fine art that we'll never get back.
Just, especially like you were a teenager back then too, so all those shows were.
Yeah. Oh, they were all on USA Up All Night, hosted by Gilbert Gottfried, and every kid who was a preteen to late teen was sitting right there on Fridays nights watching that just to see these horrible films.
I mean, are they? Oh, so okay. I have a question. Are they horrible, or do they know exactly what they are?
Oh, they know exactly what they're doing.
That's why with these Christmas movies that come out now, so many people say, oh, they're terrible, they're horrible. But there is a formula for these movies. They know what people want to watch. They know that they don't want the conflict to be too out there. They want it to be familiar so that they can just turn off their brains and watch a reporter stuck in a snowbound town finding love with another reporter, but they're lying to each other. Like I guess there's an art to making these movies. I guess.
Yeah. I think the best one I saw, I believe it was called A Nashville Christmas or Smoky Mountain Christmas, about a country star who leaves the big city to go back to Christmas in the small country town that she's from, only to be snowed in. And then she sees her high school love, and then they fall in love all over again. Come on. It's fun to watch these things. Come on.
And people make fun of them. Oh, they're so bad. But I'm telling you, dude, there's a formula. They shoot if you and I worked on these, we could probably knock out 4 in 2 months the way they shoot.
Yeah,
they are a machine. We could probably do 6 in those months.
A little bit of truth here. I worked with a guy who produces those, and he told me that he is constantly cranking them out. He said there's like you said, there's a formula. They do it, and they just keep doing it because people love watching them, especially around the Christmas time. They do. The Lifetime channel constantly plays them 24 hours a day for an entire month, and then to go with Freeform does the same thing, but then they mix it up a little with teenage Christmas movies as well.
And I like that they hire the same actors because they know the drill, but they also get a lot of people from soaps because soap operas move so quick. That you just have to
Oh
shoot.
man,
We need to shoot 90 pages today. I got it. It's
oh,
fine.
it's nonstop. I love that. Would be my ambition, to be a soap opera star. You're guaranteed work for the rest of your life. I mean, there's people. Look at Susan Lucci. She can't stop.
I would have
She's been
8
around
twins. But all 8 twins are just me. And people think I die, then another person pops up. Wait, it was you the whole time? Ha ha.
Where's those kids from Raising Arizona? What are they doing now?
Oh, I like Raising Arizona.
Yeah, but there was 6 of them. Or was it 6 or 8?
Wait, Raising Arizona? Oh, yeah, I got it. I was
The
thinking
the whole movie's about stealing a baby.
I was thinking about that TV show.
Oh, Raising Hope.
Yeah, Raising Hope. That one's fun.
That was good. Yeah, starring
Garrett
I can't
Dillahunt.
remember his. He was really good. He's a very very versatile actor, which I don't think he gets the recognition that he really deserves. And then we have, well, I can't remember her name, but the lady who's in the Goonies.
Martha
plays the
Plimpton.
mom.
Yeah, she was
There we
so
go.
good.
Dynamite in that show.
That My Name is Earl, I think, would make for a fun back-to-back watch. Those
Oh
two.
yeah. I never got into My Name is Earl, although I did watch a few episodes here and there. But I really liked Raising Hope. I thought that was a fun show.
I know that he got into he had a coma in one of the My Name is Earl episodes, and he went to a dreamland. And I'm like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. But I like the first 2 seasons where he's trying to right wrongs. I don't remember. And then Jamie Presley's in it. She was funny.
Of course, and she's gorgeous to look at. So.
Not another teen movie. I love that film.
Yeah, which also was co-starring the guy who played Jam.
Oh yeah, you're right. Stop.
He was in that. And he also followed that up with Superman Returns. But he's still cranking them out to this day. Actually, all these guys are, except for Giuseppe Andrews. He kind of fell off after making his movie, Giuseppe Makes a Movie, which is a documentary more or less about his life growing up in a trailer park and becoming a nobody, only to have the ambition to be an actor. And he did it. So he made a documentary kind of about that. And then that just was it. He hasn't really done anything. He did a little bit of music, though, here and there, because apparently he was the only one that could actually play an instrument. Giuseppe's father is an accomplished musician and came on set while they were doing this movie and showed everybody how to play their instruments respectively. And then he would show up every once in a while. So according to the director, they shot that scene in the basement towards the end of the shooting, because that way everybody could master their instruments, at least the best that you would think a 16 or 17-year-old would be able to.
And the only guy that learned anything was Giuseppe.
Because Edward Furlong is just screaming into the microphone, very Sex Pistols style.
And they couldn't show the stuff on DeBello that much because he didn't even bother learning. And Giuseppe sounded a little justifiably annoyed by that, I think, because he's like, I actually learned how to play the bass.
You know, I would agree, but you know, you got to look at their backgrounds. Giuseppe, who's, like we said, his father has a background in music, so he takes it seriously. James, I don't really know, but something tells me he smokes a lot of weed.
Yeah.
Especially at his age. And to keep in mind, he was 19 years old. Edward Furlong, who's a child star for almost a decade at this point, he probably didn't really think too much into it, because he was probably thinking, well, I'll do this, but then they won't even care if I do how it'll look. So I'll just kind of yada yada it.
That's a good breakdown of their musical skills.
And Sam Worthington, he was 16. He was also a child star. So he has to, I'm sure he's probably thinking, yeah, you know, maybe I'll learn. He's the one playing the drums. So he's like, I could probably fake it for a little bit. And then you got Giuseppe, who's thinking, man, what the hell, guys? Like, my dad actually came out and helped us.
And then also, what'd you think about at the very end, the KMB work? Like, KMB came in there, Nicotero, those guys, Kurtzman.
That sweet telecamera they did for free. And the only condition that they said was, they said to Adam that if you pay for our tickets to come out to see this concert, that the fake concert that they created for the fans, we'll come out and we'll do this mouth cam for free. So Adam immediately said, yes.
You know, I was reading a review by Ain't It Cool News at the time, and there was a real concert before the movie. Harry Knowles and other guys went to it.
Yeah, and they also recreated their live tour show for this movie, so that way they could get 3,000 fans. They paid for 500 extras, but they wanted to. Adam said that he wanted to have the whole town look like it was engulfed in Kiss fans. Sadly, they couldn't get as many as he wanted, but in order to get that great concert shot, He said that they offered a free kiss show for the fans.